For today, we will be discussing the topic on nutrient deficiencies in plants. Now, we all know that plants can be damaged by pests and diseases, but another important facet to focus on is the damage brought about by deficiencies of our macro and micronutrients. So ang halaman pala natin ay nasisira din every time na nakukulangan siya sa important nutrients na kanyang kailangan. So we will be talking for this lecture what are the different common nutrient deficiencies in plants, macronutrient and micronutrient deficiencies. And then, we will talk about its symptoms and bakit nag-a-appear yung mga symptoms na iyon. Before we move on to the topic, nutrient deficiencies in plants, I also want to discuss the two categories of plants, of nutrients, in relation on the movement of nutrients in your plants. So alam natin na meron tayong two classifications of nutrients, macro and micro. Pero you can also classify nutrients based on their movement in your plants. So we have here mobile and immobile nutrients. Yan yung dalawang classification niya based on the movement of nutrients in the plant organ. When you say that the nutrient is mobile, okay, since it is mobile, it moves, okay? It moves from older tissues going to the younger tissues. Kaya kapag nagkukulang ang nutrient, since the mobile nutrient is moving from older to younger tissues, so napupunta mostly yung nutrients sa younger tissues, ang unang-unang naaapektuhan kapag mobile yung nutrient natin are older tissues. Okay? So we want to think of it as something like, since papalayo yung mobile nutrients from the older tissues, ang naaapektuhan na una, so the first one that is being affected by deficiency issues are older tissues. We also have immobile nutrients. Now, when you say immobile nutrients, this stays in the older tissues, hindi siya gumagalaw. Right? Kaya kapag nagkukulang itong nutrient na to, since hindi siya gumagalaw, present na siya sa older tissues mo, ang naaapektuhan naman are your younger tissues. Okay? So, hindi siya gumagalaw since immobile siya, present siya sa older tissues, kaya kapag nagkaroon ng deficiency issue, nagkaroon ng pagkakulang with regards to that nutrients, ang unang nawawalan dyan, yung younger tissues, because the nutrient stays in your older tissues. Okay? So that is just, I just want to discuss this because later on when we will be discussing the symptoms of nutrient deficiency, ika-classify ko rin bawat nutrient if they are immobile or mobile. Okay? And ano yung effect niya, mas makikita mo kasi kung ano yung mga tissues na naaapektuhan because of their classification, whether they move or whether these nutrients do not move. So, let's start with our discussion on macronutrient deficiency. So, the different macronutrients that we will be discussing are nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. Now, these macronutrients, they are required in larger quantities because of the word macro. So, kailangan siya ng halaman sa maramihang amount. Okay? They play an essential role in building plant structures and they also support basic physiological functions. So think of your pakbet, for example. Kapag ikaw ay nagluluto ng pakbet, may mga ingredients ka na nilalagay doon sa pakbet mo that requires a large amount, big amount as well. So large na, maramihan na, malalaki pa yung slices. For example, yung mga gulay, kalabasa, yung sitaw, okay? Kung gusto mong lagyan ng karne yung pakbet mo, pwede mo ring lagyan ng karne yan. So all of these things somehow is similar to your macronutrients. They are needed in large quantities. Okay? So let's start off with nitrogen deficiency. Nitrogen is mobile. So therefore, Ang naapektuhan kapag mobile, nasabi natin kanina, are the older tissues first. Nitrogen is very important in chlorophyll production. Therefore, kapag nababawasan ang nitrogen, hindi nakakapag-produce ng chlorophyll yung halaman. Now, this causes now chlorosis or yellowing. Yellowing where? It starts in older leaves. Nagsisimula ang yellowing or chlorosis sa older leaves when nitrogen is deficient because nitrogen is mobile. At the same time, nitrogen is important for most synthesis of amino acids and proteins na kailangan ng halaman to grow itself. Therefore, kapag kulang ang nitrogen, it also affects overall plant growth. The next macronutrient is phosphorus. So, phosphorus deficiency, phosphorus is a macronutrient that is mobile. So, it also moves. Okay? Now, one very unique characteristic of phosphorus deficiency is yung pagkakaroon ng purplish coloration yung dahon. Why? This is because of accumulated anthocyanins. Accumulated anthocyanin. Now, bakit nag-accumulate ang anthocyanin? Ang anthocyanin is actually a stress response of the plant. Okay? Now, phosphorus, this affects energy transfer in the plant. Kapag wala masyadong phosphorus sa ating halaman, more than likely, hindi na utilize ng halaman ng maayos yung kanyang energy. And because of that, it leads now to the plant being having now a more tendency to be stressed. So kapag stress yung halaman mo, it will now produce this chemical, anthocyanin. And itong anthocyanin na to ay may color purple na effect sa dahon ng halaman, primarily to protect the plant against excessive heat or against excessive sunlight. Kaya nagkakaroon ng purplish leaves kapag kulang sa phosphorus ang ating halaman. Now, since this is mobile, yung purplish leaves na yan, nag-i-start yan sa older leaves natin. Okay? Kasi nga, gumagalaw ang phosphorus papunta sa younger leaves, nawawalan yung older leaves, so purplish leaves specifically on older leaves. At the same time, phosphorus can stunt the growth of your plants because phosphorus is also critical for root expansion. And it also causes delayed maturity. Why? Because dahil hindi nga niya nasisynthesize ng maayos yung energy niya, nagkakaroon ng problem on the growth of the plants, and it also delays the maturity of your plants. Another important macronutrient is your potassium. Potassium is mobile. Again, it moves from older going to the younger tissues. Ang potassium, ang unique na characteristic niyan is yung pagkakaroon ng brown leaf edges in older leaves. Why? Because your potassium is actually involved in water regulation. Okay? Now, kapag walang masyadong potassium sa ating halaman, nagkakaroon ng water stress yung halaman natin. And it usually starts off, the stress usually starts from the edges of the leaves. So yan yung isang unique na symptom ng potassium deficiency. At the same time, potassium is important in strengthening your plant tissues. Therefore, if you have less potassium, then your plant will also exhibit weak stem characteristic. So that's potassium. It is a mobile macronutrient. Next one, we have calcium. So calcium is immobile. Okay? It is a macronutrient, but this is immobile. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya gumagalaw. It stays on the older tissues of the plant. Therefore, ang naapektuhan dyan is yung mga younger tissues natin. So that's calcium. Now, what is the work of calcium? Calcium is essential for the formation of cell wall in the cells. And it is also very important in root growth. Okay? Kaya naman, kapag wala masyadong calcium doon sa ating halaman, it is more than likely to affect the leaves. The leaves will not properly form its cell wall. So yung leaves mo, may cells doon. The cells there will not properly form its cell wall. And because of that, nagkakaroon ng distortion yung dahon. Distortion on what specific part? On the younger part of on the young leaves of the plant because it is immobile. Sila yung unang nawawalan kumbaga ng calcium and because of that, nagkakaroon ng distortion yung kanilang dahon. At the same time, I have discussed earlier that calcium is important in root growth. Therefore, if you have calcium deficiency, kulang yung calcium sa iyong halaman, it causes poor root growth as well. In some cases, especially in fruits, kapag kulang ang calcium, it can cause a disease called blossom end rot. Oh, this is it, the blossom end rot. Kasi kapag kulang ang calcium, nagbe-breakdown yung fruit tissue natin, yung nasa end point ng fruit natin. Specifically, this happens in tomatoes and peppers. Another macronutrient that needs to be considered is magnesium. Magnesium is mobile nutrient, so it moves from older leaves going to the younger leaves. Now, magnesium plays a very important role in chlorophyll production. So, para din siyang nitrogen natin. Okay? As a result, kapag ang magnesium mo kulang, nagkakaroon ng tinatawag na intervenal chlorosis. In fact, that is one of the unique symptoms of magnesium deficiency. What does intervenal chlorosis means? It means between the veins, kaya nga intervenal, sa gitna ng leaf veins mo, nagkakaroon ng yellowing. Okay? So bakit sir, hindi nagiging yellow yung mismong leaf veins natin? It is because of the fact that your leaf veins do not actually requires less chlorophyll para makuha niya yung pagiging green niya or para magkaroon siya ng green pigment. So hindi niya masyadong kailangan ng chlorophyll yung area ng leaf veins natin. Kaya kahit na may magnesium deficiency, green pa rin yan. Whereas the area between your veins, kailangan nila ng chlorophyll. That is why nagkakaroon ng intervenal chlorosis when magnesium is deficient. Now, since your magnesium is mobile, yung intervenal chlorosis ay nagsisimula saan? Sa older part of the leaves. Okay? So, sa older part of the leaves, kasi nga mobile, gumagalaw yung magnesium from the older to the younger. Therefore, kapag kulang yan, nawawalan yung ating older tissues. And lastly, on the macronutrient aspect, we have sulfur. Sulfur is an immobile nutrient. So, hindi siya gumagalaw. Therefore, ang naapektuhan dyan is yung younger tissues. Okay? Now, what is sulfur? Sulfur is very important in protein synthesis, and it is also very important in the formation of chloroplast. So, unlike your magnesium, unlike your nitrogen, na nagkakaroon ng yellowing sa older leaves, first, kapag kulang naman ang sulfur, nagkakaroon din ng yellowing kasi nga very important siya in the formation of chloroplast, but not in older leaves, but rather on younger leaves kasi sulfur is immobile. At the same time, without sulfur, it also affects overall plant growth, kaya nagkakaroon ng delayed growth, stunted development, because sulfur is necessary for the synthesis of amino acids and enzyme that is critical for plant functions. So, yan yung iba't ibang symptoms ng macronutrient deficiencies sa halaman. Now, we will be discussing ano naman yung iba't ibang micronutrient deficiency symptoms sa halaman. Now, when you say micronutrient, these are nutrients that is required by your plants in very, very small quantities. But kahit na maliit na quantities lang, yung pangailangan ng halaman sa mga ganitong klaseng nutrients, mind you, they are important because they are crucial for enzyme function, hormone regulation sa halaman, katulad ng mga plant growth hormones mo, and in nutrient transport. Now, micronutrients are needed in small quantities. So, one way to think about it is yung ating pakbet. Kanina, macronutrients yung mga gulay na nilalagay natin sa pakbet. Yung micronutrient dyan is yung mga ingredients in small amounts na nilalagay natin, katulad ng bagoong or alamang. Yan. Katulad ng bitchin, di ba? Or magic sarap. Kunti lang nilalagay natin dyan, pero importante siya para mapasarap yung pakbet mo. Ganun din ang micronutrients. Kunti lang nilalagay natin, but very essential to your plant growth. So let's start off with iron. That's the first micronutrient na importante sa halaman. The iron is immobile, so it doesn't move. Ang iron, this is very important in chlorophyll production as well. Kaya isa sa mga symptoms talaga ng iron deficiency is yellowing or intervenal chlorosis din. Katulad ng ating magnesium kanina. But since iron is immobile, nagkakaroon ng chlorosis or intervenal chlorosis saan? Sa young or sa old? Sa young tissues or sa ating young leaves. Okay? So that is iron deficiency. Another important micronutrient is zinc. Now, zinc is, again, immobile. It doesn't move. So, therefore, ang naapektuhan is mga younger tissues. Now, what is zinc? Zinc is a nutrient that is very important in the production of auxin. Now, if you have watched some other lectures that I have created before, we know that auxin is a growth hormone. Therefore, kapag wala masyadong zinc, it affects the production of this growth hormone. Kaya naman, ang isa sa mga symptoms niya ay yung pagkaliit ng ating halaman. So for example, you have smaller leaves. So you have smaller, younger leaves. Okay? At the same time, you have shorter internodes because of the lack of auxin. That is, kasi kailangan ng auxin yung zinc. So kapag nagkulang yung zinc, hindi nakakapag-produce ng growth hormone na auxin yung halaman mo, and therefore it leads to small leaves and short internodes. At the same time, zinc is also needed for chlorophyll production. Therefore, nagkakaroon rin ng chlorosis yung young leaves natin. Bakit sa young leaves? Again, zinc is immobile. Because zinc is immobile, it moves from older to younger. See, zinc is immobile, it doesn't move. Okay? Nag-i-stay lang siya sa older leaves mo. Kaya ang naapektuhan dyan is yung mga younger part of the plant. So that's zinc. Another important micronutrient is manganese. Now, manganese is immobile. Okay? Immobile siya, so hindi ulit siya gumagalaw. Therefore, ang naapektuhan dyan is yung mga younger tissues. Now, your manganese, this is involved in photosynthesis, but most importantly, involved siya sa detoxification process ng tinatawag nating ROS or reactive oxygen species. Now, your reactive oxygen species, yan yung product ng physiological process ng halaman. So, every time na nagkakaroon ng respiration, transpiration, etc., ROS is being released by the plant. Now, this ROS, these are toxic. Okay? Toxic yung mga yan. Think of free radicals sa katawan din ng tao. So, ROS is the somehow counterpart of free radicals in plants. Now, this ROS, these are toxic. And manganese, yan yung nutrient that detoxifies ROS o yan yung naglilinis ng ROS sa halaman. Therefore, kapag kulang ang manganese mo, nag-a-accumulate yung ROS and napupunta yung toxin na yan sa iyong halaman. And that buildup of ROS actually reveals itself as brown spots in the leaves of your young leaves of the plants. Okay? So, manganese, nagkakaroon ng brown spots and at the same time, chlorosis. Saan? Dahil immobile yan, we know that it first affects younger parts of the younger leaves of the plant. So that's manganese. We also have boron. Boron is an important micronutrient and it is immobile. Okay? Now, boron is just like your calcium, okay? Because your boron is critical for cell wall formation. It is also critical for reproductive growth. Now, since ang boron mo ay immobile, ibig sabihin it affects younger leaves. Kapag deficient ang boron, nagkakaroon ng distortion sa dahon, similar to your calcium, primarily starting on the young leaves. Since boron is important in cell wall formation, it can distort your leaves and it will start that symptom on the young leaves. At the same time, boron is important in reproductive growth. So kapag kulang din ang boron sa iyong halaman, nagkakaroon tayo ng symptom called poor fruit set or the fruit do not develop normally. So nagkakaroon din ng distortion or maliit yung prutas or sometimes the seeds may fail to form properly. So that's a distinction, I guess, between boron and calcium. So boron and calcium, they are similar because they are both immobile. Although calcium is macro, boron is micro, but they are both immobile and they are both involved in cell wall formation. Now, kapag kulang ang boron, kapag kulang ang boron and calcium sa iyong halaman, naapektuhan yung young leaves mo because it is immobile. And primarily, since they are involved in cell wall formation, nagkakaroon ng distortion sa dahon. At the same time, boron also affects the fruit itself because boron is important in reproductive growth. So more than likely, kapag deficient ang boron, poor ang formation ng fruit and poor din ang formation ng seeds. And sometimes, seeds will not form at all kapag kulang ang boron. Another important micronutrient is copper. So copper is, again, immobile. Therefore, it affects the younger part of the plants first. Now, what is copper? Copper is important, is an important micronutrient, specifically in lignin synthesis and chlorophyll production. Now, lignin, ito yung substance sa cell wall ng iyong dahon na kailangan ng halaman ng dahon ng halaman to maintain its turgidity, right? So that is lignin. Now, when copper is deficient, when copper is deficient, bumababa rin yung production ng lignin. So, ang tendency niyan, yung dahon mo nagiging manipis. Okay? Kapag yung dahon ay manipis, kapag manipis na nga siya, tapos wala pa masyadong chlorophyll, yung dahon, nagkakaroon ng silvery appearance. Dahil manipis yung dahon, kapag naaarawan yan, parang kumikinang siya. Because manipis yung dahon. And the manipis na symptom is because of low concentrations of lignin in the cell wall brought about by copper deficiency. At the same time, since copper is important in your leaves, it will also has the symptom of twisted or distorted growth in your younger leaves. So yan naman ang copper. Ang isa sa pinaka-importante talaga na symptom ng copper deficiency is this, having its silvery appearance. Why? Kasi nga luminipis yung dahon brought about by the low concentration of lignin because copper is deficient. And the last micronutrient that I will be discussing is molybdenum. Now, molybdenum is a micronutrient, but this time around, siya ay mobile. Therefore, it moves from the older tissues of the plant going to the younger tissues of the plant. Now, molybdenum is very important in terms of producing the necessary chlorophyll din. So, with regards to chlorophyll production, importante rin ang molybdenum. Kaya naman, kapag kulang ang molybdenum, nagkakaroon ng yellowing yung ating halaman. But since it is mobile, the yellowing will start off on the older leaves of the plant. Molybdenum is also very important in legumes. Ang molybdenum natin, very important siya sa legumes because it actually helps the legumes to use nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen, backtrack tayo. Molybdenum is important because it helps legumes to utilize atmospheric nitrogen. In our previous lecture on nitrogen fixation, alam natin na ang mechanism ni legume para gumamit ng nitrogen ay hindi niya yan kinukuha directly from the soil. Although may mga kinukuha siya from the soil, pero mostly kinukuha niya yan from the atmosphere. Because legumes, they have special microorganisms or bacteria called rhizobium. Okay? Now, itong rhizobium na to, para magamit niya yung nitrogen na nasa atmosphere and convert it into something na na pwedeng gamitin ng halaman, kailangan niya ng enzyme na nitrogenase. Now, this enzyme nitrogenase needs molybdenum. Therefore, kapag kulang ang molybdenum, magkukulang din ang nitrogenase sa iyong legume crop. Therefore, yung rhizobium mo, hindi niya magagamit yung sandamakmak na atmospheric nitrogen and convert it to something na magagamit ng halaman. Therefore, specifically in legumes, kapag insufficient or kulang yung molybdenum mo, yung mga buto na nasa legume plant mo ay hindi na de-develop ng maayos. So, one symptom of that would be kapag binuksan mo yung pod, wala masyadong seeds or maliliit yung seeds. So, yun naman yung unique na symptom ng molybdenum deficiency on your legumes. So, that's it. I hope you have learned something and you've learned important concepts with regards to this topic na magagamit nyo in your study of agriculture and in your upcoming assessments. Good luck and God bless.